week's vlog is going to span over the week while we're at Disney, and I'm not just documenting the trip just to document it. I'm actually going to be talking a lot about traveling to a theme park as a disabled person, and I'm going to be talking a lot about um, the handicap accessibility at Disney World, how we get around at Disney World, how we're treated at Disney World. I get a lot of questions about, do you take your wheelchair? Do you get a scooter? Do you guys cut the lines? What happens with this and this and that? And what do you do at the airport? And so we thought it would be fun to document our journey this week, and hope you guys like it. All right, guys. So when we are preparing for a trip to Disney, or basically any trip that we're going to be for an extended period of time, there's a few things that I like to do to check off my list. So first of all, when you are thinking of what hotels to stay at, as far as Disney goes, if you can afford it, I would recommend staying on property, because the buses and the shuttles are all handicap accessible, and they come like every 5 or 10 minutes, and it's just easier to stay on property. We stayed off property on our honeymoon, and it works, but you have to get special buses to come. You have to wait longer. It's just not as convenient. So if you can afford it, I would always recommend to stay on property at Disney World. Disneyland is a little bit different because it's in closer proximity, and so it's easier to walk to the park. But Disney World, stay on property. The next thing is make sure you let them know if you need a handicap accessible room or not. Now, we did this at first, and they said that the only difference between the normal rooms and the handicap accessible rooms is the shower. Every room, the door is wide enough to fit a wheelchair or a scooter. But the handicap accessible rooms, the showers are bigger and they don't have a lip on them so that you can roll right into the shower. They also have handlebars on in the shower. And so that is the only difference between the handicap accessible or the non-handicap accessible rooms. So if you need a bigger shower that has no lip, then I would suggest the handicap accessible room. If you're able to, get in and out of the shower, then you could just do a normal room. Totally up to you. The next thing is when you are booking your flights, make sure you let them know that you're going to have a wheelchair. This is good for a couple of reasons. You get to pre-board the plane, so you're not as stressed. They will ask you if you need somebody to help you throughout the airport, and that is really helpful, especially if you have kids, so that your husband or wife can focus on the kids, and then somebody else can help you through the airport. Security, you're most likely, if you can't get out of your wheelchair, you're most likely gonna have to do like a pat down, and to me that was totally fine, wasn't a big deal. I do it all the time, but it does take a little bit longer, so just prepare for that. So as far as getting ready for the park, Disney World and Disneyland they have a lot of information on their website. If you go to the bottom of the page, it'll say like disability services, and they have a whole bunch of different things that they do for different types of disabilities. Now, at Disney World, there's 4 different parks, and almost all of the rides in every park are handicap accessible, so you don't need to worry about that. However, they do have what's called a disability access pass. And to get this, you would just go to any park, go to like City Hall or the information booths, and tell them that you need a disability access pass. What disability access pass is it's for certain rides that have longer waits, but that are still handicap accessible, but that you might not be able to wait in the long line, or you or one of your children has autism and there's like too much stimulation in the line. What the Disability Access Pass is it gives you the opportunity to go back and get a return time so that you can like reserve your spot in line, basically, go ride some other rides and then come back. Now, if the rides aren't handicap accessible, they give you a return time anyway, so you don't need the Disability Access Pass. But if they are, then you want to have a return time, you'd need the Disability Access Pass. So my recommendation is, even if you don't think you need the Disability Access Pass, I would get it, because every ride is different. And so some rides you may need it, some rides you may not. So it's free. It's not a big deal. Most rides you won't need it, but some you might. So that's the Disability Access Pass. They also have different things for hearing impaired or vision impaired or people with sensory issues. So they have a really good program for people with disabilities. So I would go look online at all the rules and stuff for that, so then you can decide what you need to do as far as the parks. Disneyland is a little bit different. I haven't been to Disneyland in a while, but most of their rides are not handicap accessible, so you will be getting a return time for that. But just prepare for that. Yeah, those are the things I do to prepare. And so now on to the vlog. Hi friends. It's Monday morning. It's the day of our trip to Disney World. I'm so excited. I've been up since 4 because I couldn't sleep. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos, and hit that like button to let us know you're liking them. Well, here we are at the airport. Janie, look at Mama. Janie. Janie. Say hi. Well, we made it onto the airplane. And so we made it off the plane, and now we are waiting to get on our bus to the hotel. As far as accessibility, they have buses that have lifts so that you can stay in your wheelchair, get on the bus, and then it drops you off at your hotel. So that's what we're doing. So as far as the accessibility to get on the bus is pretty good. Alright, so it's our first day at the park, and we're headed to Hollywood Studios, and they have this cool thing. Let me show you. So this is the Sky Coaster that goes from our hotel to the park, and they actually have, so over there is the main line, but then they have a separate line for people in wheelchairs that you can go directly onto the Sky Coaster with no steps, and then it puts us in the normal line. All right, so now we are in the Sky Coaster. You're okay. Janie's a little skeptical. Can you say hi? Are we on a ride? Yeah? Alright, so now we are just waiting. This is kind of a little bit scary. But very convenient to not to have to take a bus. Whee!
You want to see out? You see?
Okay, this is awesome. All right, guys. So I don't know if you can see behind me, but we are in Toy Story Land, and I wanted to kind of tell you how we've been getting around today. So normally I would bring my own wheelchair to Disneyland or Disney World. It's just easier that way. We don't have to pay for anything. But with the baby, doing a wheelchair and a stroller is extremely difficult. And so we looked into scooters. So Disney World offers, you can rent scooters, you can rent wheelchairs, you can rent strollers. With the electric scooters, the price is $60 a day, but you get a $20 deposit at the end of the day. The bad thing about the scooters for Disney World is that you can't rent the same one for your whole trip, and you can't take them out of the park. So you rent one in one park, and then you leave and you rent another one in another park. And the wheelchairs, they're like $30 a day or $20 a day. But again, you can't take them out of the park. So we looked into different scooter companies around Florida that rent wheelchairs or electric scooters, and there's actually quite a few, and most of them will deliver it to you, which is nice. So the place we decided to use is called Scooter Vacations, and it's only $25 a day, and they deliver it to you and then they pick it up, so that's nice. The other nice thing is that you have it with you your whole trip, so you can have it with you in your hotel from park to park, so that makes things really convenient. So if you are somebody that's in a wheelchair and has a child and can't do the wheelchair and the stroller, I would suggest renting an electric scooter of your own to bring to the park. And if you have your own wheelchair, I would suggest bringing your own wheelchair, because then it doesn't cost you money. So those are my recommendations. Janie, are you dancing? Here we are at Olga's Bar and Cantina from Star Wars. Alright, here we are, day 2 in the Skyliner, and we are headed to Epcot today. Brendan, what were your thoughts on accessibility yesterday at Hollywood Studios?
I thought it was really good, actually. They made it real easy and gave us some good information and guidance on what to do, and I mean, they're really well trained, that's all I can say.
Yeah, it's really good. Everything is handicap accessible. You don't have to be separated from your party. It was just a really good experience. So this is what it looks like riding in the Skyliner. Depending on what hotel you stay in, you can do the Skyliner to different parks, like we said yesterday. So this is kind of the view. It's just really fun, easy, simple. They're air conditioned. They have special ones for people in wheelchairs. Yeah. So we're just gonna show you some quick footage of me riding the scooter and how helpful it was. Again, we used Scooter Vacations in Orlando, Florida.
Yep, go ahead.
So I wanted to point something else out that they did really good with accessibility. So at every bathroom they have disabled stalls, which is good, but they also have at every bathroom building they have the bathroom, they have the companion bathrooms as well that are accessible. So they're really good with the bathrooms and accessibility. Alright guys, so Jamie is about to go on a ride. I thought it would be fun to videotape her. Yes, I don't know if you can hear. We'll get here in just a minute. Your little head poking out. Jamie, look!
Try to get her attention, Cassie.
Janie! Look! Janie, look at Mama! Janie!
Get one good one.
Janie, over here.
She's doing it on purpose.
Janie's ready. Are you ready? Should we go ride Little Mermaid? Huh? Where are we going? Come on, keep coming.
Determined and ready to ride Little Mermaid.
Well, here we are on the carousel. And I am on just a bench. Makes it easy for wheelchairs. And Janie and Daddy are on the carousel. Janie, say hi. Hi, yeah. Whee! Okay, now that we're back from Disney, oh, check out my Baby Yoda shirt. Um, Let me tell you about a few things that we learned while there. So, I talked to some employees about what type of training they get to work with people with disabilities, and they said that they are trained to ask certain questions about what type of assistance that they need. They're trained not to question if somebody actually needs a wheelchair or not, which I think is good and bad, and I'll get to that in a minute. So they do get a little bit of training on how to treat people with disabilities and how to help make their experience a little bit better. The other thing that we noticed was that at every ride, they ask if you are able to transfer in and out of your wheelchair or your scooter. Most rides require some type of transfer. However, there are some rides that you can stay in your wheelchair on. I know It's a Small World, you can stay on your wheelchair. The Jungle Cruise, I think you can stay in your wheelchair. The Safari at Animal Kingdom, you can stay in your wheelchair. So they do ask you if you're able to transfer or not. And if you're not, then they will work with you on how you can enjoy the attraction. But just be prepared for most attractions. You do have to be able to transfer in and out of your wheelchair. They are able to slow rides down in certain ways to make it easier for you to get in and out of things. But you'll just need to communicate that to them. Something else that we noticed is when they are doing shows or parades or things like that, they do have sections marked off for people in wheelchairs. We didn't get to experience that a ton this time because they're not having parades or doing a lot of shows, but in the Frozen show, they have handicap sections. On the Country Bear Jamboree, they have wheelchair sections. For when they do parades and things like that, they do have sections blocked out for people in wheelchairs, which I think is really nice because most people are standing, and when you're in a wheelchair, you're sitting, and so it's really hard to see. So they make sure that the wheelchair sections are towards the front and that nobody can stand in front of you so that you can see. So that's been really helpful as well. My biggest, I don't know if it's a pet peeve or one of the things that I think perhaps Disney could work on is if you are going to be renting a wheelchair or a scooter from the park, I feel like it would be beneficial to require some type of doctor's note that you need to show to get a scooter or a wheelchair, because there are times where I know that people do not need wheelchairs. Now, there are people that have disabilities that aren't visible that probably need wheelchairs, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those people who are standing in front of you in line and say, it's my turn to get in the wheelchair, and they switch places with the person in the wheelchair. That happens to me every single time I go to Disneyland or Disney World or any amusement park for that matter. And here's the thing. If I could trade you and not be handicapped and not have to be in a wheelchair, I would. This isn't by choice. So it really frustrates me when people think that they can just rent a wheelchair to cut the line. It's not that simple. It's not that easy. And so that is one thing that I think Disney could work on, is perhaps requiring some type of documentation when renting a wheelchair or a scooter from the park. Not only would it cut down on lines, but it would also help those who actually need the scooter or the wheelchair to be able to get one, because there have been times where they've been sold out or they've run out of them. And so that would be one thing that I would change. Did notice, and if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I don't see any Disney princesses or characters really in wheelchairs. And I think that's something that needs to change, because I think Disney princesses, little girls look up to Disney princesses so much. And it would be nice for those girls, those little girls who are in wheelchairs, to be able to see a princess that's like her, that she can look up to. So if there are, please let me know. But if they're not, we should start some type of campaign or something to get a Disney princess that's in a wheelchair or a walker or something. Other than those things, you know, the experience was quite pleasant, and it's very accessible. But you guys found this vlog helpful, and that it can help you on your next trip to Disney or any amusement park. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and leave any comments or questions that I might be able to answer for you. And we'll see you guys next time.